Hi, I'm Kathleen.
And I'm Sean.
And you're listening to the Dead Baby Bear podcast.
Dead Baby Bear. Long story.
Yeah, I just dosed myself in...
Why did you put on tanning oil?
It's not... It's like... It does have SPF in it. Instant
Good God,
bronzer.
what is it, SPF 2?
It is... It says it's sunscreen. It's just got... Oh, it's sunscreen that has bronzer in it.
Oh. Why do people always want to be bronzer than they are?
Because I look better when I'm tan. I look healthier, honestly. Like I have pictures of me from last summer, and I'm like, fuck, Kathleen, you're hot.
Tan Kathleen is hot.
Tan Kathleen is hot.
Yeah, but even like fat construction workers look better tan.
Yes.
I mean, we all eat.
That's why we do it.
No one looks worse tanned, do they? Have you ever met somebody that looked worse, where you're like, ooh,
well, the
fuck,
ones
he
that
looks
are like
terrible with a tan.
orange, the ones that are so tan and shriveled, that looks bad.
Yeah, the ones that are like, oh, your neck's burnt. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off. This is my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of racist, isn't it? We're like judging my sunburn. Like, go fuck yourself. I was thinking about because you know how there's always things you're not allowed to call groups of people anymore.
What do you know?
What do you think the next one's going to be? What group of people name
is offensive? Are they going to change?
Next?
Which sports team is
thing?
easier question? Because the Edmonton Eskimos just got changed to the Edmonton
Elks, wasn't it?
Elks.
They did the Elks. It doesn't look bad. It's okay.
No, and then everyone in Calgary's like, hunting season's early. Like, shut up, you dumb fucking idiots.
Stampeders.
Yeah,
We're named after horse death.
Yeah. Shut up. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We named ourselves after the death of horses.
And the death caused by horses.
Yeah, an animal that didn't need to die that ran around a track in your little fucking dumbass chuck wagon with your Calvin peeing on a liberal sticker on the back of it. Horses. We named ourselves after the death of horses and overpriced candy.
I just spent a few days in Calgary, and it is such a lovely, beautiful city. Like,
blah blah blah. It's a fucking
But the
dump.
people that live there are just like, some of them are there's too much redneck still in that city. I mean, I guess there's a lot of redneck in this city too, but I don't know. It's just.
That's what's scary about Fort Saskatchewan too. Is like it just started to dawn on me how redneck of a place it is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why it took me 43 years.
Yeah. How is it just dawning on you?
It just dawned on me after 43 years. Like the only MP in Canada.
Yeah.
That didn't vote for a bill to make the Catholic Church apologize.
Yeah.
For the atrocities at residential schools.
Also, fuck.
Only MP in Canada, and he didn't pay a political price for it in Fort Saskatchewan. It was like, oh, fucking, I guess so.
I want the Catholic Church to fucking pay. I want them to arrest old nuns that are still alive and priests. I want them to put them in jail. I want them to tax the fuck out of the church. It's about time.
It'll never happen. We still have public money that, we just built a Catholic school in Fort Saskatchewan. We're still building the fucking schools.
It's so stupid.
We're still building their schools.
Yeah.
Like, is that and it's public money. They aren't taxed, and public money goes to build these fucking schools.
Yeah.
Who's a Catholic in 2021?
I don't know. I mean, I have a few relatives.
To me, an apology, who gives a fuck about an apology? What you want to have...
Yeah, I want everyone to
You want to have a bunch of people that fall out of Catholicism. Right?
Well,
that's where their power is.
My whole opinion on Catholics now, after, even before this, but like, truly now that everyone is finding out the stuff that everyone has known about for years, I really have zero respect for anybody that claims to be Catholic.
And the reason is because there's 10 different versions of Christianity you can choose.
Yeah.
If you went to the Jesus restaurant,
yeah,
there's 20 menu items
the
of
Jesus
different
restaurant.
And they're like, 19 of these menu items are cooked right here in-house by our well-compensated staff. But there is the souffle is made by child slaves 2 blocks away.
Yeah.
And you were like, I will have the souffle.
Yeah.
I believe you know what? Fuck all the other things I could have eaten here that are made by your staff. Wake the kids up. Wake the kids up with a whip and make that souffle. Like, you have made the choice to pick the version of Christianity that has a history of just horror. AIDS in Africa.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fucking. It's insane the amount of death that they have on their record, and people are like, I wish they'd say sorry.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck about sorry?
This sorry
Who
stuff.
gives a fuck about sorry? Get out of the church, you moron.
Yeah. I think that you know how you just said, I think
I
think Catholics are going to be the most ostracized people now. I really do, because I think too many, of course the Native community already cannot.
If that was all you had, if you had to abandon Christ to leave Catholicism, then okay, I get it.
You don't have
like
to.
Jimmy. You like you like Uncle Jimmy, do you? But there are so many different versions of Christianity
Yeah.
where you can continue to believe in the ever-healing power of Christ
Yeah.
without the history of these fucking lunatics
Yeah.
that have gone around the world telling people, oh, by the way, don't wear condoms.
Yeah.
Like, you go to Africa and tell people, by the way, don't wear condoms.
Mm-hmm.
The death, the destruction that they've fucking caused throughout
Mm-hmm.
the planet is sick.
That's just the death, and then talk about all the children that they've raped.
In England, yeah, I mean, not even
Like,
to mention
that's
that.
not
In
even-
England, I
yeah.
think I've mentioned this in the podcast before, but in England, for hundreds of years, the Catholic Church, if they were running low on money, would go around town with a list of people that were recently deceased that were in purgatory.
Yeah.
And you could purchase them going to heaven.
Yeah.
So the Catholic Church would just say, we need to raise some money, so let's go around town and let Kathleen know. By the way, Wendy is fucked. Like, imagine they just strolled down the street and they're like, Wendy McGee, not in heaven.
Yeah.
And you were like, pardon me, what? And they were like, she's trapped. Your dead mom's trapped.
It's
What
disgusting.
$15 I think would do it. I think we could probably get her up there for $15. Okay, and then you give them money, and then they go, "Yep, we took her off the list." And you're like,
Oh,
thank
good.
God, thank God."
No more donating to the Catholic Church. No
Unbelievable.
more going to Catholic Church. Just everybody that is involved in that needs to
The
go
funerals.
away.
Have
The
you
Pope,
been to a fucking
the
Catholic
Pope
funeral?
needs to go.
You've been to a Catholic funeral? You gotta get up, and
Yeah.
up you get,
They
and
love
down you
standing
go, and
at-
up
yeah.
you get, and down you go.
They have
Like, I
nice
didn't even
asses,
fucking-
though.
I barely knew
They
this
do a lot of
guy.
squats. They do a lot of squats.
barely
Catholics
knew-
have nice asses. That's one thing I will say about them.
Jesus Christ, Catholics do have great asses.
They do have great asses.
So do Jews, and because they're the up and down.
Lots
you know,
of up
their
and down.
abs, lot of
Anytime
core
there's a
work.
lot of up and down.
Anytime you can
Yeah.
get core work out of prayer, it really is a double whammy. You look better and you're closer to heaven.
Yeah, it does make you look at everyone has known about residential schools forever. And everyone, it's the same. It's just like Black Lives Matter happening last year when all of a sudden this one last thing and that was it, and people were like, "This is so awful," and finally everybody started paying attention. I think
Yeah,
that's
it was-
what's happening
it
now.
Was, it was like a horrific combination.
Yeah.
It was a horrific confluence of events
Yeah.
where you have a church that has a history of perpetrating
And
evil
dead
on people.
babies.
A history of
Dead
perpetrating
children.
evil on people. They have a history of it. They've done it for hundreds and hundreds of years.
And God
The
and Jesus,
Catholic
they're supposed to be the
Church-
people that love children the most.
So you've got the most evil organization in the world.
Yeah.
And all the people that work there are like, you don't become a fuckless priest unless you like to fuck the people that go to the church.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, yeah, I'm going to fuck nobody. I promise. Winky
Wink,
winks.
wink. Ugh.
Who becomes a priest? So they've all these priests and nuns that come over to Canada, and then you have this. So you have an evil organization to begin with that fucks with white people. I mean, they'll rape everybody.
Yeah.
And then they come here, and it's like, there's this group of people that we have just decided are less than human, and we're going to bring them into the fold.
Yeah.
So it was just this awful sort of racist, horrible thing perpetrated by this evil organization, and the government was like, whatever. I'm sure they're doing some good stuff.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's insane. And honestly, they need to really, really start throwing a lot of money at the Native community and to help them get over the stuff that they have because of things like, if I was in a residential school, fuck yes, I would have an alcohol and drug problem.
well, if your grandmother was, right?
It
your
was passed on.
grandmother- yeah,
The
if your
stories,
grandmother was.
did you read that story about the woman, the girl, not a woman, a little girl that got raped by one of the priests, got pregnant, and when she had the baby, they took the baby and threw it in a fire. This isn't even, and this,
And every one of those people that did that, when they died, thought they were going to heaven.
they have
Right?
neighborhoods named after
I've
them.
burned 60 babies and can't wait to see my grandma in heaven.
Yeah. They have
excuse me?
neighborhoods.
Like you threw
broke
60 babies into
and
the
you
garbage.
broke one of the commandments, many of the commandments, over and over. You're not supposed to kill people.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. That's why it was such a horrific confluence of events,
Yeah.
because they didn't see them as human.
Mm-hmm.
So in their minds, it was like, well, these savages, so it was, they didn't have that connection of
Yeah.
they were that evil, where they were like, oh, these people aren't human, but maybe if they find Christ, we can try.
Ugh. I just, even when I worked at Fort Edmonton Park and I worked in the fort, just the amount of gross comments about natives that are on a daily basis, just awful things. And then there were the
It's funny that white people went to this place that is about Edmonton history and thought Holy fuck. We're talking about First Nations again?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in a place that's about history.
Yeah.
You thought that you could, like, we just skip all
Yeah.
that stuff and go right to Dr. Smith used to put leeches on her pussy to try to get out the weirdness.
I think that the Native Americans should go and take Catholic land. Go
Well,
take it back.
The thing that I read...
Go take those churches. Say sorry.
The thing that I read that was, like, really interesting, and actually, I don't know why I didn't think of it before, but it was, about how the reason that they brought these children in was because they knew that those children were the future landowners
Yeah.
of the places that they wanted to take over.
Yeah.
So you bring in the future landowners and you indoctrinate them and
Or kill them.
or kill them.
Yeah.
And then you segregate them from their families and say that culture is weird and
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. And then when you become the actual title owner of that land, you give it to the church.
Yeah.
The church now is the landowner because, of course, like if you're a Catholic person, you're
Yeah.
gonna,
Oh, I'd say hello
yeah, we have a
to our
stray
YouTube
cat.
viewers.
We have a stray cat. This is a homeless man's cat.
Yeah, I know it is. I had a homeless man living next door to me in the backyard, and then when one day
Which doesn't make sense because you live in a home next to a home, and the homeless man lived next to you in a home.
I think they were in the garage.
Huh.
I'm not sure.
Which is, if you're homeless, that's a home.
Hey, if you see a
You know what
home
I mean?
open,
It's a roof over your head.
it is. But he was leaving one day, and he was like, "It was great being your neighbor." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." He's like,
Was he talking to your car?
yeah. But then he said, "Have you seen a little gray cat?" And I was like, "No." And he said, "Okay, I'm just looking for my cat." And then he left, and I believe that this is the little gray cat because so just before you got here, I was.
when you're homeless, you're used to leaving things behind, correct?
Yeah, you don't carry it all with you. But this cat is so comfortable now, and Jim is going to adopt it.
We're gonna convince Jim to do it.
He's
for
so
sure.
close because I have 2 cats. I would adopt it in a second, but I just don't have. But this cat is so sweet, but I went out to give him some food, and it like ran at me
you want a homeless animal.
This cat
That's what
is
you want.
so friendly.
I don't want a fucking some foo-foo
No.
piece of shit that was raised in
Yeah.
like, a litter with his family.
No, this
Fuck
is skin
that.
and bones
Some
cat
pussy
that needs
shit.
love.
I want one that was just like right out of
Yeah.
right from birth. The
Into
mom
a-
didn't even clean the sack. Didn't even clean the birth sack. Just fucking
just fell off a
left
few
her
weeks
there
later.
and it hardened and then
It
fell
hatched.
off of, and then he hatched like an egg.
No, this
And he roamed the streets and found some guy who lived in a garage and they both drank motor oil together. And now he lives at my house. That's the cat I want.
This
Because then you
cat-
can lay any food down and he's like, fuck, is this good?
yeah, it's so
like
grateful.
you could lay a bowl of ashes down and he'd eat it.
Like he was scared of me at first, and then I put food down and immediately ran up to me and was like rubbing my legs. I'm like, yeah.
But what was I? Oh yeah, I was talking about what do you think? What is the next name
that's going to be
like
offensive?
right now? There's a group of people that we can call them this now without any problem, and in 2 years we will not be able to.
I think that like white people are going to be mad at being called like. I think that like there's people that don't like being called rednecks because that's what they are. But I don't think that that's going to be like, oh, you can't call them that. But I think that name is getting people mad to be called that.
I'm going to be honest with you. I already did my homework on this and I figured out what it is.
You did? Wait. Did you do some research for this podcast?
I did research for this. I know what it is. It's Conjoined Twin.
Conjoined twin.
Yeah.
There's
Is
not
it-
that many.
Well, no, I know, but it used to be Siamese,
Yeah.
and then they changed it to Conjoined,
Okay.
which is great for the Siamese twin community because they finally get to be called by their rightful ancestral medical jargon. So now they're conjoined. So they're conjoined twins now, but
Yeah.
we changed the wrong word. Siamese wasn't the word that was horrible; it was twin.
Yeah.
So that's what needs to be changed with conjoined
You
twin.
think just twin or
Yeah, because these are like real whole human beings, and we only ever identify them as being a part of another
someone else.
person, right?
What do you think they're going to call them?
They're going to be called coupled people.
Coupled family?
Coupled people. That's
Coupled-
what they're going to be called.
What
So
about
when you're
coupled
referring
siblings?
to conjoined twins, you call them coupled people.
What about coupled siblings, or is that too incestuous?
I don't know. I mean, it depends. Maybe they have a falling out,
Oh yeah.
right? And then they're not friends anymore. It's like, he's not my fucking brother. Can you imagine having a big conjoined fight where you're like, go fuck yourself, friend. Go fuck. I haven't talked to him in 9 years.
What's that movie about conjoined twins with like Matt Damon?
I don't know, but I did some research
that
and I
movie
found out
called?
that they die at different times, which is weird.
What?
Right? Yeah.
So one
they
of them
actually
has to
do die at
carry around
different
the
times.
dead twin for a while.
Old Livy twin.
What do they do then?
I don't. Well, the research that I did it was just about like one set where like the one twin died and then 3 days later the other one did. I thought they died at the same time. I had no idea that there was a bit of a lag there.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it's going to be, coupled people. Do you not think that makes sense? More than conjoined twin, and then like kids in 50 years will change it to people of couple.
I'm getting to that age where I'm confused and I don't know what to call anybody anymore, and I don't.
Confused and I don't know what to.
And it changes every week. Like I just read the other day, there was like a whole guide to like genders and what everything means, and it's like very complex. And I can see why like my grandparents were like, we're not going to change our mind about calling people this or that because it's what we're used to, but. That's called progress. That's what happens.
I guess so.
This
You
world.
just kinda
Do you
keep
feel
it-
like the world though is progressing at a lightning speed? Like I feel like when we were kids, like there wasn't like a social justice. Well, maybe you just didn't realize it when you were a kid, but there wasn't. It didn't feel like there was a social justice thing every week. But now it feels like progress is getting made. Like I feel like finally people are starting to recognize the Canadian Native people as like people.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and instead of having a general view where, you know, if you are a person who's like doesn't care about like Native community, whatever, like, you know, it's like, well, get over it. Tends
Yeah.
to be what they like. Why don't they get over it? And it's like, well, why don't we look at what we're asking them to get over?
Yeah.
Because you might think it's like, oh, get over it. Like,
Yeah.
like as if we came along and like we were like, let's build a McDonald's. Like,
How
we
could
came
somebody
over
say
and
get
killed
over
everybody.
it to a native? I just don't like. I'm just so frustrated about like my mom worked at the archives and had to like when she worked there was people coming in all the time doing research for lawsuits for residential schools and just the stories and stuff and the way that people still and there's like their culture is so much better and cooler than any white culture. Like if you read about Native history,
Their
if you
masks
read
are
about
better,
their
like we do.
everything
We're
is
like
better.
Iron Man, $8.
You know what?
And they're like, what the fuck? Does this have any spiritual significance? And we're like,
they respect
spiritual
women more.
significance.
And like if you go back and like, sorry, they respected women way more than any white culture. Like they, like the women were in charge of almost everything, and the men were just hunters. Like for part of it, like that's like. I don't know. I just get
well,
so
and the
frustrating.
thing that we were the ones that needed them. Like we came
Yes,
over and we're like, fuck, are we
absolutely.
cold?
Oh,
And they're like, we'll catch you some beavers and
Yeah.
you guys can have jackets. And we were like, thanks.
that was the.
And then or we were like, I can't grow food. And they're like, we'll show you how to grow food. Like they did, like it was like we just fucking, not only did we come here and take their land,
We were
came
assholes.
here and we were like, we need help.
Yeah,
And
we
they were
took
like,
it.
we'll help you.
Yeah.
And then they were like, we're strong now. Bye.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it was just
exactly.
the ultimate fuck over.
Well,
where it
even
was like,
when
we
I-
didn't come over here and dominate. We came over here and needed their assistance to live.
Yeah.
And they gave it to us.
Yeah.
And we still fucked them.
Yeah. Well, North America would not have existed without the Native people.
Think
because-
about the First Nations community, like in the first or second generation of it, where had to be two people that were like,
What the
I
fuck?
fucking
Told you, yes.
not to teach them how to farm. What did I fucking say?
Yes.
About teaching white people
Let
how to
them
farm?
die in the cold.
I fucking said it last year, and now we're paying the price.
But that's the worst though, because that just tells you that they're more compassionate people than the people that came and
And they should have
stole
hated
everything
us.
from.
They
They
should have,
should
tried
have.
to kill us immediately.
I know. I think that they at first. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't live back then. Like it just like
Oh, you weren't even alive.
I wasn't alive. I know I look old. I wasn't alive.
fun.
But I just like. Yeah, I just hope that attitudes start changing more, and I hope, and I also have major white guilt. Like I just don't know what I can say or do to people to make them feel better.
Basically, like if you ever bump into a First Nations person, then
Yeah.
you can say sorry for everything.
Sorry, no, but
That's
yeah,
what I
that's
do.
so patronizing too.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to just say sorry for everything. Bye, I'm gonna go get in my
I
car.
pause. I hesitate. I say sorry, like it's for the bump, and then as they're leaving, I say for everything. Is that wrong? Is that,
I mean, maybe.
that's the thing. Whenever I say something and then you don't say anything after, I'm
You
like,
know
oh,
it's
that
wrong.
must have been racist.
It's not that it's patronizing. Like
I guess so.
I just don't know. Like it
You know,
doesn't feel like
you don't
enough.
know-
You know.
you don't know what to say, right?
Yeah.
Like a sorry isn't enough.
Yeah.
So
And
what
even
do you
just
say?
like posting stuff, like if you like they don't want us to call it history anymore because it still happens today, which is true. It was like, but it was a part of our Canadian history. I only listen to books now because I don't like reading.
I only listen to books.
I can't read them like with my stuff. I don't know.
The books are called Big Brother Season 3.
Books-
Have you read the book was better? Did you watch that reality TV show? The book was
book was
better.
better.
Imagine reading a fucking Big Brother novel. That's how
that'd
you
be
know it's a
hilarious.
garbage TV show, and you're like, oh, that's like, I'm going on an airplane for 4 hours. I wouldn't mind cracking into Big Brother Season 3 broken down by a fucking author.
That would be funny.
Oh, I wanted to talk to you about what, because I have a very weird regimen of, I get angry. Do you get angry buying ice cream ever?
I'm always excited.
Yeah, I get the line. Here's the thing. I think this is an etiquette thing, but I don't know if Jim agrees with me or if you agree with me.
Okay.
But it's hot, right?
Mhm.
It's a Sunday. It's hot. Everybody's boiling.
Is it one of those big?
Yeah, like
containers?
an ice cream like an ice cream place where you're like lined
have to be
up
outside.
and you're outside and they're scooping it in. It's cash. People have cash again for some reason. But then, I thought
cash would be gone
Then
by
you're
now,
like
by the way.
waiting behind 10 people,
Yeah.
and you know that represents like 30 to 50 people.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're probably ordering for between 3 and 5
yeah.
people. And you accept that. But there has to be a fucking, like I was there was 10 people in front of me. And then that's the other thing. If you're an adult, you don't get to butt in to go with another adult. Like,
Get in line.
that doesn't, no.
Yeah.
Like, so there was this one lady who was 3 ahead of me. And then her friend comes and is like, oh, hey. And then she just goes to get in line with her. It's like, what the go fuck yourself.
That's in any line you should not do that.
Children can do it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if your children come, you can do it. But an adult can't join another adult in front of some other
No.
people in line. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I kind of blocked her off and then pointed to the back of the line, right? I was like, oh, no. What I said was like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you got here before me.
Oh, I love the passive aggressiveness. I love
And then
it.
she was like, I didn't. And then I was like, oh, I thought you were you going ahead or something? And she's like, well, and then she just kind of like backs off and then texts her friend her order. So now like I've lost, right? Her order
Yeah.
has been texted forward, fucking over my head. But then the lady right in front of me, like her whole extended like Christmas time family shows
Showed up.
Like
Oh my
fucking
God.
20 people. They're all like Christmas. It's like it's Christmas and like all of a sudden everybody, cousins and everybody. And they're like, oh, hey. And then they go up to her and I'm like, oh my God. Like the woman right in front of me. So she's like, oh, you guys don't have to line up. I'll just like order all of it for everybody. And they're like, oh, you would do that? Like,
No. I would be like, no, don't do that. We'll get in line.
well,
That's what a good person would do.
I think the rule has to be you can only buy what you can carry, right? And
Yeah.
I don't mean like get it out
And
of the
hand
ice
it.
cream thing and hand it
Yeah.
off. No, you have to be able to get it and then walk 100 yards with it.
Yeah.
If you couldn't walk 100 yards with all these ice creams, then the other person has to fucking line up
Yeah.
behind the people who've been waiting there for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So I just fucking...
Were you just like eating your ice cream so mad when you finally got
I didn't
it?
even get ice cream.
You stopped. You didn't
We
get
went to
ice
Dairy
cream.
Queen. We downgraded to Dairy Queen.
I don't mind Dairy Queen.
No, Dairy Queen's fine.
Yeah.
But I was just like, okay, we are not lining up for this. Like, we're
Yeah.
done. Like,
Yeah.
that lady just took a giant, I mean, she's
That-
ordering for 20 fucking people.
That's just like, that's just not ice cream line etiquette. That's just line etiquette. Like that's fucking.
But ice cream's different
Why?
because you're ordering, you can do orders for other people, right? Like, I don't know. It's different than when you're lined up at getting your registration done. Nobody can be like, Vivian, can you get me register my car? Text me your VIN number. Fuck.
I see what you're saying. I get it.
Yeah. So
It's
it
the
is
same as like
little
a
different.
beer gardens. Like in beer gardens, you're only allowed. I think it's more of an alcohol consumption rule, but you're only allowed usually 2 at a time.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Although
right?
whenever they're like, you can get 4, I'm like, give me 4. I'm like, I'll carry them all. I've gotten really good at carrying multiple things. Like when I was 18, there was like a bar here called Lush, and Lush had 50-cent highball night on Wednesdays, and they had these cups that would stack. Like they had little ridges in the bottom so you could stack them, and I would walk around with like 6 vodka slimes.
Like some drunk ass bitch.
Oh, I'm good at stacking.
I used to go to
I'm good at
like
carrying.
music festivals and I'd be in the beer garden all day.
Yeah.
I didn't even I was never center stage.
No.
I was in the
I'm
beer
not that
garden
person.
all day.
I'm not that center. I was like that.
'Cause I used to be an alcoholic. Like I would, I would hammer down it.
Yeah.
And then usually I would do like a mushroom tea as well.
Nice.
So you'd be absolutely fucked.
You were so much more cooler when you were younger.
I know. Yeah, isn't that's hilarious that like, wow, it was so cool. I was fucking out of my mind on drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You're so cool.
You must have been cool back then. Now you can survive way less fucked up. You must be an old fuddy-duddy.
I can't survive if I get fucked up. I get hangovers now. Not like crazy ones, but hangovers for me, which is not fun.
No. Yeah, liver damage.
Yeah.
Right? Your liver is...
I just got all my, I just went to the doctor's and I had all of my blood work done, and she's like, all your organs are great. I'm like, good. But this is the best part. Okay, so you'll
all
never...
your organs are great.
She was like, so...
You know somebody's blowing smoke up your ass when they tell you every one of them. You telling me my gallbladder doesn't have a little fucking oil in it? Come on. All your organs
I don't have a gallbladder
great.
anymore. I have my gallbladder
That's
removed.
basically like saying you don't have cancer anywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is good news.
That's the nice way of saying you don't have cancer anywhere.
That's good news.
But don't say that your organs are great. Listen,
No,
if
that's
I
good
was
news for
teaching
Kathleen,
a
because I
medical
was
school
like
course,
so bad health before.
if I was teaching a medical school course, I'd be like, the first thing you don't want to give people is
Yeah.
license to get more fucked up after they leave your office.
Yeah.
Because somebody comes in, they're like, I'm kind of concerned about this and this. And they're like, actually, everything's outstanding. And then you're like, okay, glug, glug, glug. Like, you immediately go back to your old garbage lifestyle because the doctor said everything checks
That's
out.
not how I think. I'm staying with my lifestyle because I've changed my lifestyle and made it myself healthier. I'm not going to go and start getting fucked up again just because I know my liver's clean. I'm like, good for me. I figured some shit out.
Oh, God. You figured some shit out.
But not that well. But I'm just on so many drugs. Like I even said to her, like my doctor, because I had to go.
Look, I've got a lot of things figured out. It's called blah. Everything ends with a Zopidol.
Pharmaceuticals.
Every solution to a problem you have ends.
I
in
will
Zopidol.
never let anyone shame me
Should have
for
a Z and a
taking.
B and an L in it.
I have a fucking Lazy
Nose.
Susan pill case thing. It's got 31 pill things, and I fill them in, and they're in a Lazy Susan. I seriously have the pill case of an 88-year-old woman, and I will not let anyone shame me because this is the best health I've been in my fucking
Good
life.
for you.
Like, some people just need the drugs.
One day you're gonna have a blister pack. You're gonna have a double blister pack where, like, because it'll be a sealed pack
Oh,
with
yeah.
all your drugs in it.
I don't do that
Will
yet.
be administered by, and you might be on two of them. Like, where's my second blister
Where's
pack
my
filled
bubble?
with pills?
Where's my bubble?
Where's all my Z's and B's and O's and L's?
But my doctor, she's so funny. She's like, so, are you thinking about ever having kids? Because if you are, you probably should think about it, because you have more chance of deformities and issues now. And I'm like,
what a sales job.
like, what a good
your
way.
organs are great, but your baby would be pretty fucked up in there.
Oh, she's like, not just the baby, me. She's like, you would have a really tough time because you're older. Like, I'm like, this is just great. But I was like, hey, if it happens, it happens. But, and if I regret it one day down the line, I'll adopt. Just like I've adopted my pets.
Yeah.
But
you just wait for a homeless kid to run in.
yeah,
And then you
just let a little baby roll into my backyard and I'll
You would have to.
I totally would.
That's the worst part. You would never get pregnant in your life.
Nope.
And if you found out you were, you'd cry about it.
I'd be so upset.
Like a baby.
If I found out that I was pregnant, and this was my superficial thing, is like, I'm finally happy with my body for like one of the first times in my life. And I just know if I got pregnant, I would just gain a whole bunch of weight. I just know myself, and that's another. I'm superficial. I don't want to do that.
Right.
But yeah, no. I would totally adopt a little infant if it rolled into my backyard.
Look at that cat. It's
I know.
so comfortable. It's like sitting right behind you.
It loves
just
Jim.
chilled out.
Jim, are you going to
How
be a
can
daddy
Jim
at the end of this
not take
podcast?
that
Look at
cat
him. He's so
home?
taking it. You know what?
It's such
Listen,
a nice cat.
I'll keep it in my house for a while, and you decide.
You got a week to think about
You
it.
decide, and then if you don't want it, I'll find it a home. Like, this cat is just like too perfect.
He's pretty
cute.
good. Like I said, homeless cats are the best because
Yeah.
they're like just chill.
Yeah.
And they've seen everything.
Yeah.
Think about what that cat sees. That cat has seen more horror
Oh,
than
I
I
know.
have in less than a year. That
It's
cat
got
has seen more
PTSD,
on
and
the
it's probably like
street.
6 months old.
Yeah.
But like the thing about this cat too is like you know, you never want to take someone's pet, but there's no way that this is like a house cat because he's so skinny. But he just drank like half the water in there.
Did he really?
Yeah, he ate I put so much food out for him, and he ate it all. But
Oh yeah, no, he's a hungry little guy.
Yeah.
It's like plus 30 in Edmonton. He's like, "What's happening here,
Yeah.
Papa?
yeah, Papa, where
Why
are
is
you,
it so-
Papa?
Why
Papa.
does it? Why? One day it was cold, quite cold. Like, I always wonder how confused animals are about weather. Not birds, they seem to have it all figured out. But, like, the other ones, like
they
the cats.
Eugene gets mad because, like, he hates the winter so much that, like, when it snowed a couple weeks ago...
Does he bark at it?
He doesn't bark at it.
Does he bark at the cold?
He just walks outside and he's like, what the fuck? He, like, gets his angry look on his face and now he's just eating grass. But,
and then he's rolling his head. Yeah, just that. Those are the things that love you, by the way.
I know.
These are the things that love you the most in the world, is things that eat grass and rub their face in dirt.
Yeah, I know. And they're probably covered in pee and I kiss them all the time, whatever.
Same thing with cats. Like,
Yeah.
I always think it's a weird power move for cats.
Cats are
like,
very clean, though.
But the funny thing about cats, like, a cat will go out, kill and eat a bird.
Yeah.
And then lick the dead bird blood all over themselves as a statement of, like,
Look at me.
Go fuck yourself. And only the other cats can smell it.
Yeah.
So the other cats are like, this guy's a fucking murderer. And we're like, he's so cute.
This guy's a
But
psycho.
if you took that cat inside, they would smell the bird blood all over his body, and they'd be like, this guy is a fucking assassin. You brought
I
into
showed
our
it to my
home."
cats. They were fine.
For now.
For now. Yeah.
They couldn't smell the bird blood from up there. But believe me, he's licking bird blood all over his body.
And we still don't know if it's a boy, but we just keep calling it. It looks like a
don't know.
boy. We could be misgendering this cat, but
Favorite thing.
yeah.
Sean's
Sean
favorite
loves
thing.
misgendering animals.
I do misgender
You do.
animals a lot.
You do. Everyone does. I always think that all dogs are boys and all cats are girls.
And just like with humans, it's the other people that take offense.
Yeah.
The cat is like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. What do you want to do?
Are you excited to get your second vaccine?
I guess so. My kid got one.
You got one?
He got one dose.
Your
12-year-old.
oldest?
Can
Yeah.
you fucking believe I gave him that fucking gene therapy?
You're a bad dad. Bad dad.
I put poison into
You're
my son.
poisoning your children.
I could be wrong and then he'll die, but I don't know.
I'm so excited. But I think that there's so many people that are still going to be wearing masks and stuff because they're scared. But also, this is my whole thing, is like when people are like, well, I'm just going to continue to do it. But it's like, well, we're vaccinated. The science that you keep talking to everybody about is happening. You have the science now. The scientists are saying it's safe, but you're still it's basically like being an anti-masker, but now you're a pro-masker.
No, you were right, Maxer. I'm against maxing out too. I think everybody should keep their volumes lower.
There's far left people that I'm like, you guys are you are giving yourself too much anxiety over this stuff. Like, as soon as I'm vaccinated and as soon as they say I don't need to wear a mask, I'm going to
I'm one of those people that's going to be like, what? Like, we're doing a party. Like, all the restrictions have been lifted. Like, yeah, but not in my heart.
I know, that's a thing.
I still have a lot of heart restrictions.
Oh, people are talking about the trauma that they've got from this, and I'm like, good Lord, guys, it's just been been a rough year.
If this is our World War II, we'll get over it.
Yeah.
We better not be running around shell-shocked. I better not see soccer moms out there with a twitch in their arm like, I've been doing this for 3 years because of when I went over the wall without a mask. People started shooting at me, it felt like. Apparently none of them were. It was just other people in a mall. But I forgot my mask at home. Nothing did come of it, but anyway. My arm does this now. They call it shell shock down at the hospital. It's from COVID. It's from my experiences with trauma during
You've
COVID.
been booking shows, and I've been booking shows.
I've been booking shows like crazy, man.
I'm scared. I don't think I can do comedy. I haven't done it since December.
It's easy.
I haven't even done those
It's easy. You're good at it. People like you.
I
It's
was
hard
just
for
like-
people like me because I have to remember how to make to pretend to be likable again. But you can just be like, fucking whatever. You can just be Kathleen, and they're like, oh.
I can be like the one time where I ate an edible as I went on stage, and it hit me 5 minutes in, and I forgot all these jokes, and I was like doing the show, and I kept on starting the joke but forgetting the punchline. So I'd just be like blah blah blah, and I'd be like, so there's that, and then I just move on.
At any rate.
And I was like, I felt so bad. I felt like really, really bad. But yeah, I never did it again. Well, I did green out at a show once, but that was just an open mic. This was
I
like
don't
a
think I ever
paid
got because I can't do high in comedy. Right, I'm already up there. I'm already in enough angst
Strife.
as it is. I don't need to add a layer of anxiety to that experience.
Yeah.
Of like, hey, there's another room full of people that probably are going to be like, oh, this guy again.
I mean, I know people
That was
are
the
gonna
worst.
be
Did I ever
happy.
tell that story about like when I was sitting in the back of the comic strip and I was eating pizza
No.
and it was between shows
Oh God.
and I heard a guy, like there was 3 customers that had just shown up for the late show.
Yeah.
And I was sitting at the back table like eating pizza between shows, right? And then I can hear them like ordering, and one of them is like kind of like under his breath, like, "Oh shit," and he's like, "Oh shit," and then his girlfriend or whatever is like, "What?" It's like, "That guy."
No.
And then she's like, "Oh," and then the other guy's like, "Is he on the show?" And they're like, "Yeah, I probably."
No way.
Oh.
That never happened.
Oh no.
Sometimes I think you totally make all these things up in your head.
No, that's true.
That's like crazy that they look at you and they're like, "Oh no, not this guy."
Oh, this clown.
Well, you know what? That's actually good that you feel that once in a while, because white male comics need to feel that once in a while. Because
Oh,
you guys
Jesus
never
Christ.
feel like
Why
that.
did that have to be the fucking thing?
Because you've never walked on stage and heard someone say, "Oh, fuck a girl," or "Oh, fuck
Yeah.
a Sean." No one's ever said that as you're walking on stage. Not even seeing
You're right.
you ever
You're
before.
right that I've never been sort of. They're not like.
They've
This
never
guy's gonna
prejudged
suck.
you, ever.
I mean, that's changing now, right? It's like
Yeah,
where
well,
it's like,
there
oh,
are-
great, another white guy.
Yeah, that does happen more.
So
Yeah.
we're getting a taste of that.
Yeah.
The '80s comics didn't.
No.
It would have been great to be an '80s
Oh,
male comic.
I think that's the best time to be in a
Oh
comedy.
my
Would
God,
to be in
the
the 80s.
as a white straight
Oh,
male comedian in the
fuck,
80s.
you were-
What a
that was
time
like the best
to be
life ever.
alive.
That had to be the best life
Everywhere you go, you're just like, "Hey, I'm the headliner. How you doing
Yeah.
tonight, everybody? How's it going, Sacramento?" And then there's two girls after the show like, "He's kind of funny." And then you're like, "I'm in the, hey, ladies, I'm in room 246 at the, anywho." And then they knock. They're knocking 2 hours later. And you're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"This works." But like you fast forward 30 years and everybody's like, "That's a stock joke. He doesn't want you to go there and fuck him."
I do feel bad for them though then,
But back
because
then,
like
they
those
were-
they had it so good, and then it just like it ended quite abruptly for a lot of
It's just
them.
slowly faded away.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that whole, and you can't have the same act for your entire career anymore. Like, not that.
I'm going to prove you wrong.
Shut up! You write more than anybody I know. Jesus Christ.
I'm going to fucking prove you wrong and keep the same old shit forever.
We should do a show where
He's
we
gonna
like.
bring back his comedy now.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring back my Comedy
Oh,
Now
bring back
show.
your Comedy Now.
All those Comedy Now jokes. What did I do on Comedy Now?
You did the Stairway to Heaven
Forget.
joke for sure,
Yeah, I did something about, yeah, of course, that's
which
about
is
horrible.
ableist.
That is ableist, isn't it?
It's
Yeah,
just-
I mean, you could, all the isms, you could call that show
We
the
should do
ism
that. Like,
show.
we should listen to
Sean
our.
McComber, Ism Fest. I don't know if that's okay anymore. Yeah, I did one where I made fun of Britney Spears. I did
Yeah.
one like there. Yeah. There
Oh
was
yeah,
a
you can't make
ton
fun of that anymore.
No. Like yeah. So everything I did is pretty much toast.
Yeah.
I think, you know. Although there was some weird stuff like that. That was what I was good at back then. Is like having weirdo stuff. So I had a bunch of weirdo things. Weirdo comic. So it must have been weird. Like if you watch the special, you'd be like, that guy's. Like I said, most of the people who got in contact with me, maybe over the years, 75 people have contacted me because of the special. I would say 70 of them were children.
Yeah.
Like children. They were 11, 12, 13 years old.
Oh my God.
And they were like, "I liked your show. It was fun."
You know who those children are? They're baby comedians. Because only a baby comedian would look up a male comedian on Comedy Now and message him. I remember loving watching Just for Laughs and stuff like I loved it, and I always thought those people were like so rich and famous. Like, oh my God, they must be like
And
so
then you
rich.
found out,
And
no,
then
their wife works at Denny's.
Yeah, it's
The king of Canadian comedy.
Oh.
40 hours a week at Denny's?
it's so crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, of course there are rich people, but
Yeah, but
I think it's better to not have money. I was thinking about that today because it's like,
Why?
well, think about it, because I wouldn't want to worry about all the things I might have not locked. You know what I mean? Like, I don't worry about, where's the chain for that bike? I don't worry about that. I'm
Don't
gonna get a
you-
shitty old bike.
Don't you worry about if you left the oven on or something?
Well, I guess.
So you still have to worry
But-
about stuff. You just worry
Yeah,
about
but
poor
not
people's
locks.
stuff.
I don't have to. Yeah, I don't have to worry about like, and like if when I'm in traffic driving, if somebody makes an illegal move, I'm like, I'm not going to change speeds because this is a 100% on you,
Yeah.
and if I run into you, you just bought my car.
Thank you.
Thank you for buying my fucking car.
I know it'd be nice to be in a place where you were like, oh, I don't care if someone hits me. I just
But now
need
I'm
to get a new car.
Now I'm like teaching my kids.
Yeah.
Because like my kid went to school. We were riding our bikes, and he was like, "Oh, my principal." Like at the end of the day, he's like, "My principal. Don't worry, Dad. My principal let me bring the bike into the school because we didn't have a lock."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, we don't have a lock. Like we have super cycles from the 1990s. That's our lock. Our security system for these bikes is that they're not worth stealing."
Oh my
And that's
God.
welcome to your new world.
Yeah.
You drive a 2004 Dodge Caravan. Dad, should we lock it? No, because it's worth more if someone steals it.
Yeah.
If you want to get into my garage and take Walmart, like, good luck starting it. Good luck. That's what I would like. If somebody came and stole all my shit and I could just watch them try to start all of it.
Yeah.
You know, because they'd be like, the lawnmower wouldn't work, the Dodge Caravan wouldn't start. I'd be like, look at this thief. He doesn't know that he has to put his finger in the hole. You're not going to start it without your finger in the hole, Randy.
Oh my God.
You're not going to start that lawnmower without giving it a kick forward as you thrust back.
You're so much like my dad, because my dad got this like.
I'm nothing like your father. He couldn't even keep a Wendy. What kind of man can't keep a woman named Wendy happy?
He got a bike when I was a kid, and it was like a nice bike, and he spray painted it a whole bunch of ugly colors so no one would want to steal it. Like a brand new bike, and he colored it like
What?
lime
That is
green.
nothing like me.
You
He
just
had
talked
the
about
money. He had the
supercycles.
money for. He had the money for
Yeah,
new
but he
things. He
has
bought
the
them and
same
then he
idea.
defaced them to reduce their value. What the? That was
Yeah,
dumb.
But, well, okay, so you're different. You're just like, you just buy
I don't
it
have
at
new
low
things.
value.
Right.
Yeah, you just.
you have it long enough that it loses value on its own.
Yeah.
It erodes over time. Your
Yeah.
dad went out there and said, "How do you put rust on a new thing? Is there any way to rust this up quicker? Because
Yeah.
I don't want somebody to take my car."
That's my dad. My dad's
No, I
logic.
put tanning oil all over my fucking.
That's
I
my
put
dad's
tanning
logic.
oil all over my Sunfire, and hopefully it rusts quick. Oh my God! See, that's a weirdo move.
Oh my God. My mom used to put like cooking oil on her skin. Like when she went to Hawaii, she's like, when I was in Hawaii, we put.
Fucking
They would put like butter
ham on
and
her
stuff.
thighs.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, that's what they used to
In
do.
the pan or on your fanny. Here we go.
Or coconut
That's
oil or something.
coconut.
Oh,
Oh,
not
God.
good. Like you're gonna put oil and then sit in the sun. This
Ugh.
actually has SPF in it.
That shows you how strong and resilient human skin generally is.
Generally, is
We
until
were
they get
fucking,
cancer.
we were turkeying ourselves.
Yeah.
We were basting
Yeah.
ourselves, and our bodies were like, "We're good. We're
Yeah.
fine."
Yeah, my
like
mom
most
said.
people were fine. Like your mom didn't die of skin cancer.
No.
She was fine.
Yeah, she didn't have melanoma at all. But and like she said that when she was in Hawaii, and this was like in the late 70s, like she
Think
said,
about how racist white people were on vacation 30 years ago.
"Oh, awful."
Aloha!
Oh,
like
God.
you'd go to some, like all these fucking
30 years ago, that still
just
happens.
like,
I'm sure.
Aloha! Could I borrow your car? Aloha!
That still happens all the time.
Can you help me farm? Aloha!
I remember when I was the first time I went to Mexico and we took a booze cruise, and they told us on the boat, your lunch
They
is
told us on the
They told
boat.
us on the boat. Your lunch is
every story starts with
included.
that.
Your lunch is included when we get off the boat at this restaurant, but drinks are not included because that's how the people that live here make their money. So
What a ripoff!
tip them. And an American lost his shit because he had to pay for a Coke. Like lost his shit, and it's just like, are you? This is ugh. It was
What part of all inclusive do you not understand?
exactly that was his
I
thing.
paid $5,000 for me and my wife to get on this. Our window doesn't open, and now this.
Yeah.
I gotta pay for a Diet Coke on an island with a bunch of weirdos. Aloha. Anyways.
I'm not. Hello.
Sorry I'm in such a bad mood, Hawaiian Butler.
That's like all inclusives. As much as I do love them, I always
Sorry I've been such a
hate them
jerk
as
today,
well.
Hawaiian Butler. Aloha.
Because everybody goes to these all inclusives and they're like, oh, I have a maid and a butler for a week. And
my God.
I have someone to wait
My
on me.
fridge isn't even huge. Aw. How come I didn't get a huge fridge? They
Yeah.
made the fridge look bigger in the pictures. That website was very misleading. Think about how much they hate us.
Oh, they hate us over there.
Like immigrants that work on these like cruises and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's just hatred.
Yeah.
Would be, if it was me, I'd hate them.
Well, when I went to Cuba, I wanted to. My brother wanted me to get him cigars. I didn't know like where to go to get them, so we had at our resort we had like the same server every day. So she was really awesome and nice. And I just asked her. She goes, "Oh, my husband has some," and she's like, "Come to my house and we'll cook you dinner, and then like you can buy cigars from him." And I was like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "That's gonna be awesome." And I was with like Carrie and all those, and they're like, "Paul, you're gonna get murdered. You can't just go to some stranger's home in a different country and you're gonna get murdered in Cuba." And I was like, "I'm going, so I'm gonna go alone or someone's coming with me." And then the guy that came with me came with me, and it was the best fucking day I had in Cuba. It was so fun. Their house was like they made the best meal I ever
But
had.
you could have died.
I could have died, but I don't think like that. Like I mean, I can't stand people that are scared
And that's what I mean.
to travel when they
that's
travel.
what I mean about not having money. You don't look like you have money. You look
Yeah.
great. You look great for your tax
For
bracket.
my age.
You look great for your tax bracket. You look great for your marginal tax rate. But but over there they're like, no. Like they probably had a conversation where somebody was about to put a leaf in your fucking
And then she's
margarita,
nothing.
and somebody would no. She and then said something about she has nothing.
Her family will
She
not
has
pay
nothing.
a ransom.
I know that she has nothing.
Her family,
Her family will not pay her ransom. Don't waste the leaf on this bitch.
Yeah. But when
You're
people
not worth
travel and like when they say that they love to travel, but all they do is go to all inclusives, you don't love to travel.
Yeah, you love to be pampered.
You love to be
you just
pampered
love to be
because
pampered.
you're
a
poor
big
back
baby.
home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm just not.
scared of danger. Yeah, like I mean, what do you like? Like when people are like, I just don't want to go to the danger.
Yeah.
You got to go to the danger place.
That's why I'm so excited to start traveling
ya?
again, because traveling with Adam is amazing, because Adam will
He is a danger man.
He might get us killed one day, but I don't think he will. He's so friendly, and he just will talk to anybody, and he'll go, and if you need something, he'll go he's just he's just not afraid to try stuff. I can't stand people that are afraid to try
That's why I'm
things.
afraid of traveling, because I feel like if I died of an attack in Canada, it would be a sharp blade.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The blade would be sharp and it
Yeah.
would be over quickly. I just feel like if I'm overseas, it's a rusty, dull
Blade
dagger
or a machine gun.
or a machine.
And it's over quick.
Yeah, those are fast.
That's always my favorite when they're like, oh, Dwayne Albertson from Brooks, Alberta was murdered in Mexico. Yeah, he was trying to buy cocaine. Like, Dwayne is an idiot. Like, that's how you get murdered in Mexico. You
But
don't
people don't tell that story at the funeral.
No, of
They're
course
like, he was always one of the best guys to buy coke with. Every time we split a key, it was down the middle. I swear to God, this guy never gave himself any more powder than his friends, and I've always respected that. Water flows, you know what I mean? You give it a fucking cocaine tinged eulogy.
Oh my God, that's
He
amazing.
always cut the key down the center.
He was never
Sometimes I
greedy.
wasn't in the room, and he'd cut it, and he'd say, "I cut you, pig." And I'll never forget how we used to cut cocaine. With some terrible fucking garbage, with salt, with baking soda.
Oh
You would
my
always.
God.
I don't know, but yeah, I mean, cocaine funeral. Yeah, so you think that everybody who dies overseas is on a cocaine bust?
Not like everybody, but if it's like a tourist going off and like getting murdered and stuff like that. Well,
Where's
it's
one
'cause
place
did
you
something
wouldn't go? Like
stupid.
if somebody says, "I have tickets to here," and you're like, "Oh."
I don't know. I really would love to go anywhere, but I'm like, where would I not go?
There's no place you can think of in the world that you'd be like, "Ew." Some places I wouldn't go just because of how it sounds. Guadalajara. Ugh.
My cousin's husband was born in
Gross.
Guadalajara.
Somebody's like, "We're going to Guadalajara." I'd be like, "That's too many things." I bet monkeys play checkers there. You know?
That's
I don't want to
awesome.
go anywhere where monkeys play board games on the streets.
I can't think of anywhere that I would never go. I don't know.
Well, good for you
Siberia? I don't know.
then. Good
But
for
it
you,
could be
because you
fun.
guys are going to do a lot of traveling once this is over, I'm assuming, right?
Well, once we have saved enough money to have a down payment, then we
That
can
would be such a Kathleen
frivolous.
thing to do, to get pregnant on vacation and then.
Ugh. And I kill myself. That's
How
my.
do you say morning after pill in Spanish?
I've thought about this. I've thought about what would happen if I got pregnant. There's no way I could go on.
Por favor.
There's no way I could go on Facebook and be like, "We're so excited for baby lamp." Like I couldn't. I'd be like, "Well, it happened.
Yeah.
I'm fucked now."
Well,
that would be my pregnancy
Here
announcement.
it is.
I'm fucked.
Yep.
It's over for me.
Over. See you on the other side.
Like I just can't. I can't take a
I don't
picture.
normally like mom comedians, but you were funny.
Look at this kitty.
Aw.
Oh, we were gonna call it what? Spare change.
Yeah, we're gonna call it spare change.
Spare change, maybe. I don't know.
Or guitar case.
Whatever Jim the father wants to call it.
Jim's his dad, you know. You got to have a dad. That's really important.
I've been watching Jim this whole podcast, and he's just like cuddling with this cat.
This cat won't leave him alone. This cat
No.
knows that this guy lives somewhere.
This cat is smart. He's
Yeah.
like, I just gotta turn on the
He's quick.
cuteness. I
Yeah.
gotta turn on the cuteness. Look
You
at how
can-
cute I
See, look
am.
at this. Eugene's too comfortable. You need to let him live on the streets for 2 weeks, just so he comes back filled with a little more gratitude.
He was
Look
not
how
in a good
comfortable he
living
is.
situation before.
He's not doing anything for anybody
He's comfortable
right now.
because of me.
He's not providing anybody comfort
Me, all the time.
right now.
Yeah.
He's just sitting there.
Look at how cute he
How's
is.
that comfort? Comfort.
Comfort?
Yeah,
It's
comfort.
very- he's very
Comfortable
com-
custard.
He's very comfortable.
How long
Eugene came from the streets. So did Dottie.
Really?
They're lucky. My favorite pet adoption story. I think I told this on the podcast before, but one of
Oh God. That's what I like about me is I never repeat things on this podcast. That'd be a funny trick to play, like with somebody who's listened to all these podcasts. Like, how many times has Sean told that story? Have I talked? I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before, but
you say that at least once every episode.
I know. And then I probably have talked about it before, but hopefully I said it differently.
But we
I
have new
forgot.
listeners all the time.
No, we don't. You fucking lying idiot. That's the thing about having a marginal podcast like this. You just lose one a week. It's like family. You don't gain more family at some point. You're just losing them, right? And that's where we are in the life cycle of this podcast.
Slowly
We're
losing family
49-year-old
members.
women that are just ants are flying off the branches. Bye, Beth. Ah! You know, that's all it is. We lose one listener a week until it gets to 0, and then Kathleen murders me. But we have to track the numbers for that, obviously, and we don't.
Oh, I was listening. That's what I was saying. Okay, I was talking about this, and now I remember.
Okay.
I got the book Canada by Mike Myers on audiobook because it was free. And I started listening to it, and it's kind of funny. Well, not funny, but it's like interesting how like it starts off like his foreword or whatever starts off by like, I'm not doing the history of Canada, and this like I'm not going to talk about our First Nation, even though Canada is the only country in the world to ever successfully complete a genocide against a people. And I had no idea. It's like there was a tribe in Newfoundland, and they are all gone. There's not one person in the world left that is from that tribe because they killed all of them.
Really?
And that's Canada.
And that's the only place. Like nobody else is like.
According to Mike Myers. So I mean, who knows?
I'm just thinking about the Romans and like the Germanic peoples. You know,
I don't
like,
know.
I
Maybe.
don't know. Maybe.
Maybe it's modern history then.
Yeah, maybe.
Modern.
But I mean, it's not good. It's not a good look.
That's
even
why
if
I think Canadians need to like chill the fuck out. Like, oh, we're so great. We're not racist. We're awful. We're awful too. We have a lot of problems ourselves. That's like when you like, oh, the neighbors are just, but we got a lot of problems over here too.
Yeah. Look, this isn't the only side of the fence people can poo-poo at.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was thinking about your other neighbor, because we spent most of the time talking about your like wacko.
Yeah, she's lovely.
And this poor old woman has heard you on this podcast.
I know. She's
talking
so
a load
nice.
of nonsense. Like, I mean, I'm trying to keep it clean and whatnot, and then she has to hear you bloviating about your girl parts. And it has to be tough for her because most of the time she's in the bathroom. She's at that age where
she's so nice.
She's at that age, isn't she? Where it's just 7 hours. You might as well put the TV in there. You know what I mean? You're mostly shitting at that age.
What? You shit more when you get older?
It just comes out differently, so it takes longer. It's like sands through the hourglass.
Oh my God.
So she's just sitting there, sand pouring out, watching her Young and the Restless.
I don't want to get old.
Like sands through the hourglass.
These are the shits of our lives.
These are the shits of my new fucking old wacky life.
Yeah,
that cat has to go home with Jim.
Oh my
There's no other solution.
It's like literally
It's
trying
not
to get
like
in
Jim,
your bag.
What is Jim gonna not take it?
Yeah.
He's just gonna drive away and wave at it?
Yeah, bye.
No.
Like I said, I'll keep him to get your affairs in order, but
Get your affairs in order.
You have
Write
a cat.
your kitty cat will.
Get yourself a litter box and
find a proper name for him and make him a beneficiary on your life insurance policy.
Yes. And girls love guys with pets. Dogs, cats.
Because it shows
girls
that you
love
can
it.
manage things, right?
Yeah. I mean, I always thought it was. I really always love it when I met a guy and he had a cat. I was like, you're good.
Unless he was like, I only fuck in front of my cat. And then you're like, I guess so. And then, he's purring.
Oh my God. The pets are the worst for like when
sexual encounters?
When Adam and I first.
How does your dog look at you when you guys are doing the nasty thing?
We locked them out of the door.
Oh, you locked them out?
I don't want
you
him
can't
in
have them in there?
Well, because one time when Adam was going down on me when we first got him, Eugene was sitting on my shoulder like, crying. Like, I think I told that last week. I don't know. He was like so mad. And then the first time when we first got Eugene.
I never knew that was a bowl. I didn't know we could drink out of that.
He was so pissed off and he was like screeching
he just
at
didn't know what
Oh
we
my
thought.
God.
Like, oh, for fuck's sake, there's a meal that I wasn't aware of.
He had a little crate when we first got him. And like, I was like, for some we had sex when we had him.
I wonder how many girls have like put their pussy right next to a water bowl and just had the dog like lick near it. You know what I mean?
What?
Or getting eaten out by a cat would be weird because its tongue goes
It would
backwards
hurt.
on the water. You know, it's like it's
And they
going
have
the wrong
barbed
way.
tongues. Like they
That's true.
scratch. That's not pleasant.
Okay, fair enough. Jesus Christ. Okay, don't get eaten out by an animal. Fuck. If you're gonna be a bitch about it. I like how I brought up something ridiculous and like, well, that's ridiculous. Like, yeah. That's the point I was trying to convey.
But the first time we had sex, when we had him, we put him in the little crate, and then everything was done, and then Adam went to go let him out, and Eugene slowly walked out, and he was like looking at him in the eyes the entire time, and he lifted his leg and pissed on Adam.
Really?
Yes.
He
Like,
never broke eye contact. He slowly sauntered out.
yes.
He didn't come out immediately.
No, he just slowly came out.
Slowly, never broke eye contact with him. I saw what you fucking did.
To
I
her?
saw
Yeah.
what you fucking did. And all I can do is this. Yeah! It's the only move I have. You know what I mean? It's all he's got. It's the only way that he can truly show rage.
Yeah, I
'Cause
don't.
if you bite, you're dead.
Yeah, we don't bang
wonder if
with
dogs
pets
know
in the
that,
room.
like,
Don't
you
eat the bee.
Don't eat the bee.
You know, those are the bees that hurt. Those are the bugs that hurt.
This is the hurty bug.
He ate a bee once.
Uh-oh,
Gino.
He looks like he's trying to eat a bird.
Oh my
Why
God.
do I keep saying words wrong? Am I losing my mind?
Yeah, you are for
I am
sure.
fucking
You for
losing
sure
my
are.
mind.
We all are.
I definitely am losing my
It's
mind.
called getting old. There's no way no one ages
Yeah.
with a super sharp mind.
No. I mean, you
Like,
should.
I'm sure you
we
still
should
call
still be
your-
okay. Like, I'm 43. It's not ancient, right?
But yeah, but we've done a lot of damage to ourselves.
We have.
Like,
A lot of internal.
yeah.
Yeah,
Although
your
my liver's
brain-
great.
Your liver's great. Shut the fuck up. Like, you never know when
Kidneys,
you're on the
awesome.
verge.
I was worried about my kidneys. They're great.
If you're sitting around worrying about your kidneys, like, what was wrong? Were you having pee problems?
No, that was like my mom. My mom. That's probably the major contributing factor to why she died, because her kidneys were going into failure.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she didn't tell us. She wouldn't tell us, like, because her doctor is my doctor, and when she passed away, she called and she goes, yeah, when I got that report about your mother, I was very worried. I'm like, why? I was like, well, her kidneys were failing, and I was like, oh, well, she didn't tell us. She didn't want us to know.
Wouldn't be the first time she didn't tell me she was failing, is what her mom would say. If her mom was alive.
Yeah, keep those.
How long has
kidneys.
this been going on? This is too long already.
We do have a scratchy thingy in that
Oh,
one.
yeah,
Oh, hi,
it's way too
friend.
long.
Oh,
This is my notes. I just brought like notes because I was like,
Because you're
every
doing
time I
research
come
now?
here, well, because I'm too old now to be
Yeah,
like,
you're
what was
forgetting.
I?
What was I going to talk about?
I think I talked about everything. Oh, I did have one. Nah, I'm not even
Let's
gonna
hear
say
about-
that. I'm not even gonna say that.
I want to hear it.
I'm not even gonna say
Do
it.
it. It's about.
I'm not even
It's
gonna
about
say
the
it.
Holocaust.
No, it's even worse than that.
I want to hear it.
No.
Yes, you
It
can.
was just I was gonna wait for it to be brought up, or like, because now it's gonna sound awful.
Okay, what's the subject, and I'll bring it up.
Well, I was gonna wait for you to talk about old, so I could have brought it up organically.
we
This
just
is
did.
let me just preface this by saying that I could have brought this up organically and had it just be like a throwaway. Oh,
Yeah.
you know. But so coming into it this way is
Now it's awkward,
It's
but-
very weird.
Too bad.
So I was gonna wait for you to talk about being old,
Yeah, I just.
and then I
did.
was gonna say, so maybe talk about it. Go like,
Well, I'm old now.
yeah, but you're only as old as you feel, right?
Yeah.
And then you know, and then I was gonna say you're only as old as you feel, a couple times probably for
Yeah.
emphasis.
That's your favorite thing to
You're-
do. Emphasize
Yeah,
stuff.
I'm like the white Chris Rock without money. I just don't have money, career, or talent or anything. But yeah, I was gonna say you're only as old as you feel.
Yeah.
And then, but this is a joke. This is one of those ones where I wrote it and I'm like, why did you even write that? Like, it's such a horrible thing to think or say.
Now I really want to
Well,
hear.
no, it's not even. So I say you're only as old as you feel, which is not anything you'd want to see written on a mural at a sick kid's hospital.
Oh my god.
So it's pretty bad, right? I mean, that is bad.
That's pretty
You know,
funny though.
because they
It's
feel
bad.
older than they are, right? That's the crux of that joke.
That's true.
So that's what I was going to say. And I could have brought it up organically.
You could have.
I could have been like, oh, yeah, but I didn't.
You made it awkward on your own.
I manned up and did it the worst way possible.
You made it awkward on your own though. What was the one last week that I just wanted to quit the podcast after? That
Oh,
was
no,
a bad
I
one.
said a bad one?
Ghost 2.
Oh, yeah,
Ugh.
that was cheap.
That was terrible.
That was weak.
I can't believe I'm back.
But why can't I say something like that once in a while? Where it's like,
I'm
oh,
just saying
that's
that one was
cheap.
way worse than that.
You think that was worse
Like
than
just
this?
if I'm thinking not in terms of offensiveness, but in terms of joke writing, that
Yeah.
Ghost 2 joke is trash.
That's a dark dad joke. So it's sort of like there are different categories of
Yeah.
dad jokes, right? It's like, oh, that's a darky dad.
Yeah.
not dark dad.
Not a
Shouldn't-
darky
yeah,
dad.
I won't lengthen that again. But you know, it's a dark dad joke, which I do write sometimes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
But I
know.
wouldn't do that on stage, like Sick Kids Hall. I don't think it's. Yeah, it's awful. That's the worst part about.
You're gonna do it on stage at some point.
Yeah, but I think I would have to do it in a throwaway tag thing where it's like you're
That's
only
not
as
a
old as
bit.
you feel. What?
It's not a whole bit.
No, it's it's like it's like
I love how you're like, what?
My kidneys.
Yeah.
Well, you're only as old as or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll say something about being old. I'm 43 now, and they say you're only as old as you feel. And then I'll try to get them, but it won't work. It will never work. People will go,
I'm so excited for comedy to come back now.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You don't want to see
I'm
it.
excited for paychecks to come back, but
I want to see people bomb again. I think that's what I
do.
miss the most. I think in the year that's what I miss the most in comedy is watching somebody just
Eat it?
fucking eat it.
Yeah.
Like there's really not.
Because
and I
in
mean,
all
I-
Zoom
and
shows,
I-
everybody eats it on all Zoom shows.
And I mean,
Nobody
I bombed,
kills on a
like I
Zoom show.
bombed, like fuck, but it's just watching somebody, not somebody who always struggles.
Yeah.
Because somebody who always struggles,
But someone who's good
they're
and then has
so
a bad
tuned
one.
to that level of
Yeah.
laughter that it's meaningless to their
Yeah.
ego. But seeing somebody that normally like crushes, like
Yeah.
somebody who normally does great, who is just having this bad night,
set, yeah.
like he just gets off on the wrong foot. And he just like watching somebody who normally kills struggle is
What's your worst
really
bomb?
fun.
What's your worst bomb?
Oh my
That's
god.
such a cheat. Like that's such a lame question.
I know,
but
but I've had so.
but you have to have
many
one that you just like can't like.
terrible. I think the worst one that I ever had was like in a small town in Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
and I had some, and I had like 10 minutes of jokes because like I was like, oh, I'm gonna do well, because
I'm not gonna open that and rip it up.
can't believe I did that.
No, be quiet.
So, yeah, like I thought I was gonna do well because I was standing on stage. There was about 200 people in like skidoo jackets and shit.
Yeah.
And their kids, and there was a giant window next to the stage. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is great because I could see all their children like on top of the hockey rink roof, like jumping off of the roof of the hockey rink, like for fun.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, this is, I got a built-in joke. Like, look at what you let your kids do around. So, like usually that's 10 minutes of fun where you're like, well, welcome to fucking Robert. Look, what the fuck? Look what you let your kids do. And then they would go, oh, we do let our kids do that, right? So 10 minutes of that jokiness. But this one, I was like, mentioned it, and they were like, yeah. Like they just looked up and went, yeah, that's what
They were
did.
just a humorless town?
They just didn't engage in a single. And then like 10 or 11 times during the set, I looked over, there was a piano there.
Yeah.
And I kept looking over and being like, guys, I wish for my sake and your sake that I could play that fucking thing. I so wish I could play that piano. I would love to snap out of this set, sit over there and go, just kidding, I'm not a comedian, I'm actually an amazing piano player, and then just fucking play the piano all night.
They would love that.
They would have loved it.
They would have loved it.
They would have loved a piano guy, but I couldn't do it.
And we didn't even bomb that hard when we had to do those children's library shows for Funny
We
Fest.
did have to do children's library shows. That was difficult.
That was the worst. That was just...
Well, because there was only one thing to do, and it was the thing that I
A
did,
joke.
which is the thing that I saw. Like, being around kids, you realize like they have huge egos.
Yeah.
Like they think that the stuff they're good at, they're really good at. So all you have to do is like challenge them and be like, "Hey, does anybody here have a talent?" And then they come up and do a cartwheel, and everybody claps, and then you go, "That was the worst cartwheel I've ever seen in my life." You think that was a cartwheel with that arm technique? And then kids instinctively go, "Why don't you try it?" And then you go, "Maybe I will try it." And then you do like your shitty cartwheel, and then they go, "Ha ha,
Yeah.
you can't even do one."
The kids loved you.
Yeah, so that's what you do over and over again. You do a little talent show where you
Yeah.
insult them. Like you just say, "That's dumb. What
Yeah.
are you doing? What are you doing? What's the sparkler? Why do you need a sparkler? There's not even a trick if you need a sparkler." And they're like, "But I normally have a sparkler." Like if you just insult their trick, usually it works out well. But then the problem is, you guys were like, "That works. I'm doing it." So then
So we
we
stole
have
it.
to do multiple libraries.
I did joke
So
offs.
the second
I did joke
library.
offs, and you did a
And
talent
then I get
show.
up there like, "Are you ready for a talent show?"
And they're like, we just did a lot of
And
stuff.
I did another show with a comedian where he's like, "What do you?" It was like a kids show at a park. The city of Calgary was having like we're gonna bring in a clown and a fucking balloon guy
and a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
Oh
So it was like
God.
me and some other guy got, he was like, yeah, I got a contract for all these shows in the city of Calgary, and I'm like, well, you can't do this all summer.
No.
You're going to random parks throughout Calgary, and at some point, kids are like, okay, everybody, back over here. Like, quit.
I can't stand when there are people like, oh, we got this great idea for a comedy show. We're going to do comedy outside. And we're going to do it in the street. It's like, no, we're not. Stop it. It's not funny. It's not good.
Is this how you're announcing your outdoor show June 15th?
We're not doing a stand-up show.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm talking about I had to do it at Funny Fest again. I had to do outdoor street comedy.
Well, that City of Calgary one was Funny Fest.
Fuck.
So he asked me what I was going to do. He was like, well, what are you going to do up there? And I was like, I'm going to do a talent show. Would you get your fucking animals under control? I was like, I'm going to do a talent show. And then he was like, well, you can't do a talent show. This part of the show is supposed to be about the adults, okay? So we're supposed to do comedy for the grown-ups. So talk over the kids to the grown-ups. You can't do a talent show. And then he gets up there and he does one joke. And it's 60 kids, 60 children, and then 40 parents behind them. So, of course, the show's for the kids. The kids, 70 of them in front of you. And then so he just starts doing like, well, last week at the Cecil, a dead hooker. This Mike is... So he literally did like a dead hooker joke because he thought like, no, talk over the kids. And the crowd went, oh. And so he does like one joke about Cecil, like the Cecil. He's like, well, they found a dead hooker at the Cecil about something. And then they went dead silent at the park during the day. And then he went, who wants to see a talent show?
Of course he did.
So he does a talent show before me.
Oh my God.
And then when I go up, I'm like, who wants to see another talent show? I think I said, who wants to see a real talent show?
Yeah, that's probably more like
who
it.
wants to see a real talent show? And they were like, yeah, that was a bad talent show. So I just did it again. And then he got mad. He's like, you just did what I did. And I'm like, you took the thing I said I was going to fucking do. And he's like, you just did the exact same thing I did.
I hope he donates his brain to science. I think he needs to donate his brain to science.
That's insane. Well, thanks for being on your own podcast. Another shout out to Northern Queen. Let's do it at the end because that's when people like it to be noticed. That's when. What did we start with on this fucking?
We should make an ad and start it with an ad so that at least they feel they're getting some bang for their scratchy tickets.
Yeah, I love how they're like, great. So people just have to hang in there for an hour and 10 minutes of this drivel to get to our. Like maybe they should. Maybe we'll start giving them candies. We'll just give them one candy at a time. You know, be like, here you go. Here's your candies this week.
Slow
release.
You get more if you do it at the beginning of the podcast.
Exactly. Oh well.
Yeah, this was fun.
Northern Queen is good.
Northern Queen is
Buzzy
good.
Peaches, and then what else do we have to talk about? Anything?
I don't think so.
I mean, I don't mean have to because I do like their candies.
Oh,
I made that sound bad.
No, they're great. They can, and if you want to order some, just message us on social media. Someone will get back to you.
Don't message me. Do not message.
Well, Sean, you're never on our social medias.
No, I press the button. Like sometimes somebody's like, Dead Baby Bear has a new mention. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what that is. And then I press it and I'm like, how come I can't see the... I
don't get it. I don't get it.
Don't know. Don't know what they said. Don't know what they said.
Oh my
Couldn't
God.
find the right buttons.
Next week we'll tell you whether Jim became a daddy or not. And we'll tell you the name. Oh, he's sleeping.
Oh, he was kind of having a snooze and he's just a little meow.
Oh my God.
He's really a good salesman.
Oh, we should start a pet rescue podcast set. That should be our weekly.
Pet rescue?
Yeah, we'll have a pet that needs to be rescued on every week.
We should.
And I'll end up having to keep half of them.
Yeah, I'm sure the SPCA would be into that.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, you guys go ahead and do that. We'll give you $80 a week. We'll take that out of the cat's water dishes.
Some guy started featuring, like he had a TikTok that wasn't doing very well, and he started featuring like adoptable pets, and now it's like blown up, and he's like, and all these girls are like, you're so great. He's like, thank you. I just stole the pictures off the internet. It's fucking great. TikTok. Oh, TikTok's just gonna do things to our society. I can't wait.
Well.
I can't wait.
Well, have a great week, Kathleen.
Yeah, you
Great
have a
to do
pretty
the
good one too.
podcast again. Jim, I don't know what you're gonna do, man. We'll see.
He's gonna have a kitten.
We'll see. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.
Sorry about the sick kids joke.